And I don't get sore, Skipper. But you know what it means to run into the tropical rainy season when you're trying to make an outdoor picture. Months wasted, money gone, and nothing to show for it.
Still, you always bring back a picture.
I nailed that alien.
The morning stream. The morning stream. Am I still here? Hello? Good morning, everybody, and welcome to TMS. It is the morning stream for Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. I'm Scott Johnson, and that is Brian Ibbett. Hello, Brian. Good morning.
Hello.
Good
oh, my
morning.
God. It's so good to be back. I think, we were talking about this. I think we were talking about it in Discord separately, but we weren't here yesterday. And it's probably good because neither of us would have been in a really great haha mood, even though we could have used all the camaraderie and community, it wouldn't have been the Brian and Scott you wanted.
No. So that's what I was thinking too. And then most of the this is all I'm going to say about it today. Most of the shitty stuff happened later.
Yeah.
And that means that today is kind of the day where we're ruminating on the shitty stuff. And so now I'm worried that the opposite is happening. We should have done yesterday and then taken today off, which would have been weird because it's not a holiday. So why would we do that? So we didn't.
No.
I do. You know what? It's a good opportunity to say something real quick here. Without any specifics.
Sure.
As opposed to where things were at in 2015, 2016. And the show was on. This time, I'm going to endeavor on everything I make and do and participate in and co-host with and all that to leave all of that shit to the side. And the reason I'm doing that is not because we're hiding from it, ignoring it, head in the sand, or any of that. It's because I think, based on the feedback that I was getting pretty full throttle yesterday, that people come to this show in particular, but really the network in general, and for that matter, all our extended stuff, DTNS, Coverville, shows everybody else is busy doing, this kind of extended family of shows, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You come to it for an escape, not to wallow in more of it. So we will not be offering wallow services here. We will be offering escape services here at the Frog Pants Network. So if you'd like to escape, here you go. This is the place to do it. If you'd like to come wallow in the morass of the daily goings-on of certain political machinations, I don't want to do that again. I can't do it again. We can't do it.
and I will endeavor also to keep that impersonation that I got so used to doing on the back burner for now until who knows, until everybody feels like they're in a place where they're okay hearing it.
Yeah, because it was, I gotta say, you had really
oh my God, it was getting
it.
so good, and I feel like I can say any dumb thing in that voice, but I don't want to hear that voice right now coming out of me either.
Yeah, no, I get it. And you were really getting good at it. But I think, just some quiet time in front of a mirror when no one's around, whatever. Keeping it sharp, keeping it ready.
You want it? I'm still on Cameo. You want to hear that voice? Head on over to Cameo, and I'll do a whole video just for you and not for anybody else.
There you go.
It is nothing but that horrendous, just me saying dumb things in that voice.
There you have it. I got a question about.
Yes.
Okay. I am open to anybody's lifestyle if they just tell me, if I understand it, it's much easier for me to go, oh, okay, I get it. So if you say to me, Scott, I'm really into My Little Pony, I'm a brony or whatever, back in the day, and I would go, my initial reaction back then was, I don't know what that is. Can you explain it? And then once explained to me, okay, fine, it's your fandom, it's your thing. It may not be my thing, but it's fine. I'm not here to judge your thing. You have what you want. And so I have a question about one that I just need to know if this is a thing or not, so I know how to react to it moving forward. Okay?
Sure.
I went to Build-A-Bear on Saturday? Yes. think it was Saturday.
Nice. What'd you get?
I didn't go for me.
Oh, okay.
I went for, boy, they have a lot of Marvel stuff there, though.
They do. I know. It's so tempting. Like for a while they were doing, and maybe they still do, but I walked by one. It's like, oh, since when did this become the Pokemon store?
Yeah.
It's like 38 different Pokemon bear versions, but now I've been hearing about the Captain America bear with little, the mask. And
they got, I mean, it's actually kind of crazy how much they have for like IPs.
Fill me with stuffing all day. Yeah.
They should really combine their forces and make Lego bears and then charge $800 million for it.
Yeah, right. Combine the Disney store, the Lego store, and Build-A-Bear Workshop, and just become the most expensive store in the mall.
That's right.
Over Macy's, Zales, Saks Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, take that, Prada or all these other fancy stores.
Right,
we got you beat. Anyway, so I'm in there and it's fine. We're there with Van. It's his birthday. That's why we went. And he wanted to get this dragon. They have bears, but they also have a dragon there that you can stuff. And he's really into dragons and dinosaurs and stuff. So we're like, sweet, that's what you want. Great. He picks it out. You also can get a second bear for the amount of money that is the age of the kid. That's their policy.
Oh,
so you pay full price for the one bear, but then you can get a second bear for, in his case, $6. His birthday, he's going to be 6. Or he will be 6 in about a week. So, so we do this. We go through there, and there's a huge line like there always is, and people doing the stuffing and whatever. Oh, one other side note. This lady really impressed me. There's a lady doing the stuffing. She's at the stuffing station where they got the big roller thing and all the stuffing in it.
Yeah, I love that thing. Yeah.
That thing's awesome. It has a vacuum intake on the sides. So you take clumps of this stuff and just sucks it in. It's awesome.
It's like a one of those tree grinders or whatever they're called. Wood chipper. Had to go back to Fargo for that one.
Well, funny enough, I actually watched Fargo this weekend, so it's funny you brought that up.
There you go.
It was great. It was his friend back there in the chipper then, even though that's not how the line goes.
Turns out it was.
Yeah, it was definitely Buscemi. But anyway, so we're in there, and this lady has no fingers. I don't know what happened to her. I don't know if it was like a birth defect or perhaps an accident in her life or something, but she had just basically fists with little nubs. And that was it.
Oh,
so if you could
did you ask her if this happened with the stuffing machine?
That's what I mean. My first thought was like, oh shit, did it happen at the Build-A-Bear? I hope not. I didn't ask obviously because I didn't want to intrude. But But she was kicking ass, dude. She was stuffing bears like a wild person. The people with perfectly functional hands were way behind her. And they had like 4 of these ladies out doing it, and she's the only one that was like really ripping through these bears. Still super sweet with the kids, doing all the stuff you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take the little heart, put it up to your forehead, and then stick it in there in some kind of weird ritual they do there. Anyway,
a little wish or something, and
yeah. I had this problem later where Van goes, "I want to take the heart out," and I said, "Why?" And he goes, "I just want to hold it." I said, "I don't think you can take the heart out, bud." And he goes, "Why?" And I said, "Well, if you take the heart out." And then I almost said, the bear dies. And then I stopped and went, I can't tell him a bear dies. He's only 6. So I didn't do that.
You say something like, but that heart is the essence of your bear. And without that heart, your bear is just a bag of stuffing.
He just has no soul. He has nothing. He's nothing inside without the heart.
Exactly.
But we convinced him to leave it
When you squeeze your bear, you're holding the heart.
Exactly. That heart's always with you, even if it's in the bear, buddy. He ended up being okay with it after the end. But so all right. So to my point, we're in there.
He wants to hold it up and go.
Kalima, Shaktide, Kalima. Bring back to us. Anyway, so we're in line for this, and I noticed the lady with the knuckles and all that, and it's fine. The lady with the knuckles, the lady with the hands, you know what I mean. Yes. And while I'm looking at her, somebody comes in there who's probably late. He may have been close to our age, but he's like late 40s, maybe 48, 49, something like that. He has 2 backpacks on. Both have big Build-A-Bear bears in them, covered in all the accoutrement you can get there, like little trinkets and hats,
accessory that they sell there,
shoes and all this stuff. They're just like kind of strapped back there like kids. And then he had 2 small ones. One out of a pocket on this side, one out of a pocket on this side. And he's holding one in one arm. And in the other arm, he's got a phone, and he's flipping through it maniacally, just kind of like looks like he's trying to find something. And he comes walking in there with all this stuff. And I went, oh, must be an employee or something, I thought. maybe a guy coming back from I don't know, whatever they do.
Sure.
I don't know what they do.
Sure.
But I was like thinking that was it. And
Coming
then
back from lunch at Sbarro.
yeah, or something like that. Perfect, right? The food court's just up the hall. It's no big deal. So he's in there milling around, and then I noticed, well, no, he's not working here. He's going around and he's looking for stuff. He's on his phone, and I can tell by looking far enough away, I can see on his phone he's got like a version of a bear accessory, and he's looking for that accessory. And he can't find it, and he's asking the lady, and the lady's pointing him around. He grabs 3 or 4 things, goes and buys them, stuffs all that, plus a new bear, plus some clothes and some other stuff into a backpack thing. And these are finished bears. Like he didn't wait in line to have one stuffed. You can buy them finished there. So he does that and then leaves. So my question is for the universe at large, did I miss a memo on like there's a really specific hardcore Build-A-Bear fandom that leaks like well into middle-age adulthood in the way that you would have, you know, a LARPer or a furry or a freaking whatever.
Or someone who collects Ambernicks, for example.
There you go. Somebody who buys too many video games.
Spice Girl Legos.
Yeah. A guy with 2,000 plus video games in his Steam library. Things like that.
Exactly. Or somebody, I don't know, who just collects anything that has the stupid Marvel logo on it. I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know what any of you are talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What I was trying to do at the time was not go, I'm trying to fight my base instinct of that's weird, and instead go, oh, all right, well, there's a new kind of thing. Someone in the chat, Dr. Jones says reseller, so he could have been like an eBay guy or something like that.
It doesn't sound like if he's like belting them to his backpack and carrying them around, it doesn't look like he's buying them to just keep them at home and resell them, and got to make sure I keep this one in good condition so I can sell it on eBay or whatever.
Yeah, but, he was proudly displaying them. He looked like he wanted these to be seen the way he was wearing them. To me, you know what I mean?
It's less yeah, for sure. I think it's probably not where there's a subculture like bronies or furries or something like that. I think it's just like there's anything you can think of. There are going to be fervent fans. Fervent, is that the right word?
Fervent fandom. Fervent, yeah.
Fervent fans.
You can be fervent, sure. I like that word.
Did I use that word correctly?
Fanatic?
Yeah.
Maybe fanatic's the bit. I don't know.
Fanatics, exactly. I mean, and we have that same thing. I can hardly walk in my basement. Oh, no, I don't. Let's not make anybody think that it's a hoarder town down here. But I do have, Marvel stuff friggin' everywhere. Somebody might, he might come in here and go like, wow, that guy really has a thing for Marvel. Huh?
Oh, that reminds me. You want to hear something sad?
Yeah.
This is very sad.
Oh no, maybe I don't.
Well, it's not that sad. It's sad enough to share it with you here.
Okay. Is it a supercut of all of the people crying over the day that TikTok was down?
No, for the whole 12 hours or whatever it was. So weird.
My God, the videos of like, I can't think of anything sadder in my life than this thing.
So dumb. All right, so you've seen my skull head before, right? No big deal?
Yes.
But have you seen it in this form?
Ooh.
So I walked into my office the other day, and the big skeleton that has Patrick's scarf on it that's usually right behind me?
Oh, yeah.
Well, apparently, it was sitting in a very Skewompus way. I got another catastrophe here. Thankfully, none of the awesome Brian 3D prints he sent me were in they're over there, so they're in their own little space, and they did not get hurt by this. But this skull fell, so apparently this all crashed. The major skeleton fell, knocked this off, broke the skull off, although I kind of like it now. It's kind of rad. It's
a little Kylo Ren's Darth Vader helmet.
Right? I'm going to keep it like this. Just, put it on put it on a table. It's kind of cool. I don't know.
Yeah, throw it down and finish what you started.
Yeah, exactly. And then this thing, which I don't even remember the name of the fan who sent it, but whoever sent me this thing with the gross teeth.
Oh, yeah.
One of the testicles, one of the tentacles fell off, and I can very easily glue it, so I'm not worried about this, and I'll glue it.
Yeah.
The other thing was, Boba Fett fell. He didn't break. But my first thing
is this like old domino effect of victim
all this other shit back here. Well, not all of it, but a bunch of it fell off, and the Boba Fett fell, and I walked in here and went Boba Fett as soon as I saw it because I couldn't help it. And then What was the other thing that broke? Oh, and the head of the main skeleton shot clear across the room, so it popped off and went way over there. But the scarf is
heads
okay.
will roll.
Heads did roll, yeah. It was bad,
roll.
so I'm not doing that no more. I'm not putting it there anymore. It almost it almost took out these little arcade machines I have over here and some other stuff. And I'm like, why did I put that?
Gosh.
Why did I put him there? I don't need a skeleton there. Freaking Halloween's over. It's fine. So I'm not doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd think it would be stable enough to hang. I will confess, and I've not talked about this. It was a little too the wound was too sore for me to talk about it earlier. But when I moved this red cabinet back so I could have a place for the cat to hang out down here, spoiler alert, I put 3 different cat perches there.
Oh shit!
And she got on one for half an hour, and that's it.
Oh, she didn't like it. She ended up disapproving.
She likes it right here. I have it 6 feet to the left. She loves it. She's on it right now. But if it was there, no, don't like it there.
Yeah.
And J.K. Grammer kind of predicted what I'm about to talk about. Let's see. Let's get some pieces.
Oh, I'm scared, dude. What broke? I'm scared. It's not your pinball machine, is it? Because it's dark.
I will talk about that too. These are all pieces of Iron Man.
No. This was that really complicated monthly thing you had to put together and stuff.
This was the monthly thing that I put together. Now, here's the good news.
Oh, shit.
A lot of these things that fell off are just the magnetized pieces that go, right back on.
Sure.
This piece just had 2 pegs, and I added a little bit of blue tack, which apparently wasn't enough to keep it with the 2 pegs. So there's very little damage, like almost none. And any damage there is something that just can be glued. This is it's another piece that's just got a magnet on it.
Oh,
so
okay.
That'll snap back on. But
not too bad.
Now I want to figure out, I don't know if I want to put him back up here.
Oh, well, now that he's down, you get to make a decision about what you want to do.
I get to decide where I want to put him, and I've got to figure it out. And I think a custom, not a custom shelf, but a shelf somewhere where less things happen. And it's not like it's not like I'm hurting for geek toys for my background here.
Sure.
Now, since we're talking about it, yes, the pinball machine is dark.
Yeah, what? Oh, I'm scared. Don't tell me something terrible.
Well, this has a potential happy ending.
Oh, I like happy endings.
Which you normally have to pay extra for.
That's what I heard.
But and I would actually in this case. If you look at the Arcade 1-Up Pinball Reddit or YouTube or any of that stuff, or where fans are getting together and talking, the number one thing that happens with the Arcade 1-Up Pinball is that the PCB fries. It just burns out because they have bad airflow in there, nothing to keep it cool. It gets really warm in there. And I used to keep that thing on. It's over there.
Kind of permanently, right? It was always on.
Kind of all day. Like basically, if I was streaming, all this shit behind me, sterilizing me from the outside, is on. And so no wonder it burned out. But
it did burn out. So how did you know? You just turned around one day and it wasn't on, or it just wouldn't come on, or
it nothing like the back glass where it says Marvel turned on, but the scoreboard and the playfield did not turn on.
Boo. And
so I looked online and people are saying, yeah, that's usually a sign of the board going bad, but let Arcade 1-Up know, because they do troubleshooting with you even after it's out of warranty. So sure enough, I did that. One of the things I did while Marvel Snap was down is do all the long list of 8 things, taking that thing apart and troubleshooting, like unseating cables and trying, bypassing things and stuff like that. And turns out, it is the PCB. And I heard from them today after all that troubleshooting, and I let them know, here's the results of the troubleshooting. They'll replace the board just for $100.
Oh, that's not bad. Out of warranty board replacement. Not bad.
Not bad at all. However, I think I can do better.
Oh, you're gonna custom do something, aren't you?
gonna custom do something. I've got an LG monitor that is exactly the right size to replace the stock 720 monitor. This is like a nice LG monitor that I got while I was doing all that work for that company that kept sending me equipment.
Oh yeah. I'm glad you did that because I got that sweet deal on that. On
you got a sweet deal on a Mac. Yeah,
Kim's Mac. She loves her MacBook, by the way. Like,
oh, good.
Changed her life because what she was using before sucked ass, and she's very happy with it. Anyway, continue the story.
Excellent. And I'm basically going to put a PC in there. What that does is instead of the 12 Marvel, Star Wars, and Aliens from Mars or whatever that game was, that the other pinball machine that I could install on there with the small the version of Zen Pinball. Now I can put on Zen FX3 from Steam and have dozens of games, hundreds of games.
Yeah, and you could probably just do a Raspberry Pi. You don't even need like a full-blown PC or anything, right?
Possibly, although all the instructions that I've been seeing suggest PC, and I've got a spare PC that is more than powerful enough sitting around that I can use. Yeah. It doesn't even need to go inside the cabinet, although there's tons of room in there. But I can actually have the PC on the floor. There's a guy named Cool Toys on YouTube who has these great instructions on how to do it. I've got a little monitor that's going to replace the back glass. This will be a fun, easy, and cheap mod, and I'll probably be able to get through the whole thing, maybe only spending $150 or $200.
That's pretty good. Now that you're going to do that, I may use this as motivation to finally pull my dad's old cabinet in here, gut it, and do that.
Yeah.
That same, basically, it's the same thing. I got to do this very similar thing, but I think I'm going to do. I can just do a Pi because I'm going to make it just a mega main
just a Raspberry Pi or a retro Pi.
I don't need it to do, freaking PlayStation.
No,
I want it to just do the arcade.
No.
I want arcade machines for days. Is what I want.
MAME cabinet, basically. Yeah, super easy, and you're just going to need to get one of those little USB boards for $12. I can send you a link to the one you need. It'll connect to all your buttons. You can even put in brand new buttons for cheap.
Yeah, I got a whole set here that I haven't used yet. So I've been planning this for years and just never get around to it. It's time. I got to do it.
Yeah.
And Jim Jensen, our listener extraordinaire who lives locally here, he's always like, dude, I'll come help you take out that, CRT so you don't melt your hand off or whatever. And I'm like, it hasn't been turned on since 1980, probably 89, 88.
I'm sure the capacitors have lost all the whatever they were storing up.
I think so, but then every once in a while, an electrician will say, careful, Scott, those things can hold them for 100 years. I'm like, are you kidding me? 100 years? Really? But what if I wear giant gloves and... what if I'm? Yeah, I don't know. I'm scared to do it on my own.
Grounded. If I have 18 wires on my feet connecting to every iron surface in the house.
Yeah, I might do it though. Yeah. Now that you're talking about this, it might be a good time for us to just kind of. All right, we got these dual projects, and here, let's do a little check in and
dual project. Yeah.
All right. I'm motivated.
The other thing I did while Snap was down is I designed a stand for my guitar.
Oh, look at that!
For my, just
that's nice.
Like a perfectly sized 3D designed and printed 3D.
That looks great.
I put it up on the Lavagini Facebook site, and just about everybody was like, "Oh, this is awesome! Thank you!" And I shared the files free on printables for people to print their own. I have it up on Etsy for basically cost of time and materials and shipping. And one person says, I don't think it's cool that you do this when those people at Lavagini work really hard on their guitars and you're taking away their livelihood.
That makes me want to flick their nipple.
The guitars. They don't have a stand. I'm not competing. This is not like, like I'm taking away their money because I'm offering a cheaper price on a compatible or on a competing thing, and it makes me want to say, is the is the cover on your cell phone made by Android or Apple? Or do you have maybe, I don't know, third-party product? Is that not cool?
Yeah. I don't like that at all. People annoy me that do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I got in some, not trouble, but something happened that's very stupid. Very stupid. And it reminds me of this. And it turns out it's not even, it's even less cool than you think. So
Okay.
I had some art up on my store that was like Fallout inspired stuff from when the show came out. So I had like the big Nuka-Cola bottle that people were climbing, and then I had the hack terminal thing, and all that kind of stuff, right? So it was all original art from me. It was all fan art of these items from various Fallout things, or inspired by Fallout stuff.
Sure.
And the one with the Fallout boy, the Pip boy, or what's his name? Not Fallout boy. Whatever boy.
Pip Boy.
Pip Boy's the thing on your arm. What's the little character called?
Oh, the guy who,
Fallout Boy.
No, it's not Fallout Boy, because that's the name of the band.
It's like Nuke Boy, something boy.
Yeah, somebody will help us with that.
Whatever it is.
Vault Boy.
Jeez, of course. Freaking that Vault game. Should have thought of that. Anyway, I get a takedown notice from Shopify for my store.
Oh.
And I went,
really? Okay.
I go, shoot, is it Bethesda or freaking Microsoft or Prime for the series or something? Like, who is this? And I've had takedown notices before, way back in the day, from like Marvel and stuff, for those fat heroes I did a long time ago. Or no, it was DC.
Yeah,
DC was the one that
DC
threatened me.
was Marvel doesn't care.
No, it didn't care. And now none of them care, because it's fan art. It's what you do now. Everybody's selling fan art. Go look at it. Spend 5 seconds on Etsy. Everything's fan art or fan related or something to do with the IP. So I dig around. Nope. In fact, you may be listening now. I don't know. But it's a listener who's just got a little craw up his crack.
Really?
He sent it a DMCA takedown thing with a little note that said, these are inspired directly from a video game that he does not have the whatever for. So some fan of the show, or fan, excuse me,
well,
fan in quotes.
Say listener, but hardly a fan.
So I just took it down. I'm not going to fight it. I just took it down.
Yeah.
It's like, F off.
Yeah.
You pud. Makes me mad. And he's done this before. I think I know who it is, because I've had him pop into videos before that are totally unrelated. It'd be like a core video. And he'll pop in and go, just here to see if Scott is still making IP-based products that aren't his. And I'm like, F off, dude.
Geez.
It's art. You don't understand how this works. Go away. So instead of going away, he reported it. Bastard.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Brian. Before you
take a look at Etsy right now, and
or anywhere, go on a reporting spree.
Exactly.
Go to any stores anywhere, and why don't you just? You know what? Better yet, go to a local con, like a local Comic-Con / FanX or something, and just look at Artist Alley and enjoy how many of those people aren't the people who invented Spider-Man or worked for Marvel, but they got Spider-Man art for sale.
It's Spider-Man art. Yep.
Why don't you go around there and act like Karen, you bastard? Anyway, one final note before we head to news, and that's a text we got from Toots McLaren.
I love that name.
Toots McLaren. We've heard from Toots before, but it's been a while, so it's nice to hear from him. It says, "Hey, Scott and Brian, Toots McLaren here," and then a wavy hand. I like a little icon. I was listening to the episode.
Emoji.
Yeah, they are emojis. You're right. When I was a kid, we called them emoticons. Remember that? Emoticons?
I do remember that. We should bring that back and really, really piss off the millennials.
I think
look at the emoticon of a eggplant.
I think I prefer it over emojis, because that really annoyed me when it came around. It's like, we're not calling them that, are we? And then we did. Anyway, I was listening to the episode, what Scott was talking about. I like how he said what. When he nearly ended his puking streak due to some rancid New Jersey Michael's chicken.
It can enjoy a lovely sandwich, a submarine sandwich from New Jersey Michael.
New Jersey Michael's. Yes, I would like it Michael's way. Or Michael's method. I don't know how you'd say it. Anyway, Scott's story made me realize my own streak went as far back as 1991. That streak was ended when I was struck by a kidney stone that, let me tell you, boys, by Great Caesar's ghost, I've never felt pain so excruciating, and it made me hurl. Not once, but 8 times at least. So here's to you, Scott. I hope your streak continues and is not broken by a kidney stone. Still a big fan of the program regardless. Toots. Well, Toots. Funny you should ask. My last doctor, regular 6-month checkup, whatever, tested a bunch of stuff, including kidney function. And I'm happy to report zero sign of any stones and or limited kidney function at all. Kidneys are great. So I don't want a stone. I had a brother-in-law with one of those things. Look, Kramer made it seem like a funny time. All right, on that Seinfeld episode.
Well, I mean, the episode was funny. The pain, you could feel the pain that, Michael Richards was pretending to have with that thing.
Yeah, and the way he screamed and like you could hear it across the city.
Made that lady, the circus lady, fall off the balance beam or something.
That's right. So yeah, I don't ever want that. I work hard not to have it. I drink a lot of water to avoid it. So I'm sorry you had to go through that, Toots, but also that's a big streak. It's going to take something like that though for me, because I'm regular illness. My body won't respond. It's going to have to be something severe, and I don't look forward to it. But whatever it is, it'll finally make me break that streak. And again, I welcome it. It's fine. Bring it.
Yeah.
I'll puke now if I could. I can't. I don't know why. My doctor thinks she thinks I have a childhood block of it.
Trauma, there's some sort of puke trauma.
Yeah, and I think if she's right, it was when I saw that body get pulled from the river, and I went into shock that night, and I hurled all over my mom's ugly couch. Yeah, and it was so ugly, dude. That couch, you could hardly tell I barfed on it. It was so ugly because it just blended in. They didn't notice till the next 2 days later. They're like, "What's wrong with this couch?" I'm like, "Oh, Scott puked on it." I was little. Well, I wasn't little. I was 13. But the point is, that was a very awful experience. And if I'm honest, I think since then it's been very rare. So maybe I have an aversion to, because the whole thing I just associate with death and yanking a guy out of the river, a body out of the river, Brian.
Oh God!
That
would make me
not just like a rancid Cheeto. This is like a full-on dead body,
or a rancid New Jersey Michael's chicken.
Yeah, and I've told this story before. I think Hootie's acting surprised, but I think I've talked about it, haven't I?
Oh my gosh, you totally have. Yeah. No, it was on
this show.
You and your sister have even talked about it a couple times in Therapy Thursday segments. Yeah, it certainly could be. I mean, you and I, we traced back, or maybe it was Wendy and I last TMS Vegas traced back why, some of my nerves in front of, on a stage in front of a crowd at TMS Vegas came from this thing that happened back in elementary school where I forgot the opening lyrics to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. My solo, Dasher and Dancer and Prancer.
That's right. That is right. Which I think, did any of that, I can't remember, did any of that also say, well, maybe that's why you are so good now at knowing lyrics, which band sang them, who covered what?
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Like in addition to the grappling debilitation, it also gave me one other superpower.
Because you've had to work that.
Wallflower Peter Parker, who can also climb walls, basically. Yes, sure.
It's wild how our brains
possibly,
work.
Yeah. Who knows? It'd be interesting if that is related. I mean, I've always loved music and lyrics and stuff like that, but I wonder if that was where it stemmed from. I think it had to be before then. I had an AM radio glued to my head for the first 10 years of my life.
Oh yeah, I mean, you obviously had a love for the stuff. Yeah, you were born to have music be an appendage of your life.
Exactly. If you want to hear some of that music, people, 45 tracks of it, go to patreon.com/filmsack and buy the album.
No, go to frogpants.shop and buy the album.
Frogpants.shop, the store. Okay.
Yeah. I tried to do it through Patreon, but it wouldn't let me do a digital download without
bastards
jumping through serious hoops. It was a huge pain in the butt. But yeah, go get it. We're pulling that at the end of the month, guys. So
10 days. So
you want your January? Finish your January grabbing Brian Ibbett Sessions film sack intros. $9.99 is all. No shipping, obviously, because it's digital. And if you get it at frogpants.shop right now, it will go away for the year at the end of the month. And then next year, you might get a January with a new album of the previous year. No guarantee we won't put them in the Disney vault, if you know what I mean. You know? Just tuck them away.
People will probably more want the I can't get on my horse, the Depeche Mode thing that I did for Unforgiven. Unfortunately, that's 2025. You got to wait until January 2026 to get that one.
Yeah, may that year come quickly. Whatever, we're going to use this year.
The next 4.
may they go very quickly. That's what we hope.
Yeah, exactly.
And for relatively damage-free. All right, let's move on to the news. We have a few news stories we're going to get to, at least time for one or two, and they begin with this. Brian, it's time for the news brought to us by who?
The TMS Film Fest, now with a proper prize package. See, look at that, all that alliteration. Listen to the bottom of the show for details on what you could win.
That's right. Go to frogpants.com/filmfest. 30 seconds. That's all we ask. You submit a little YouTube private link or a little unlisted link when you're done. All the rules and the conditions are there. If you stick around to the end of the show, we'll detail all the prizes that will be yours. And they are physical. It's not just like, we'll send you a selfie. It's not like that. I guess if you want one, we could.
I mean, we'll include one if you'd like.
If you want a selfie, you can have a selfie. It's fine. But
some pretty incredible stuff in this list.
Indeed. All right. So get on it. And thanks to everybody who's already submitted theirs. We need more, though. Let's get to this story. White people shouldn't mess with it is the quote we're going to start with. You wonder what I'm talking about? Well, this is what a Native American church says about psychedelic cactus shortages.
Oh, no. I did not realize there were psychedelic cacti.
I mean, I guess, I don't know. Who knows? Let's read and we'll find out. But Aldous Huxley wrote about the spiritual visions he had while taking the drug mescaline. Oh, so it's mescaline that comes from that. I didn't know that. I may have forgotten about this first paragraph when I put this in here. Anyway, in the book, The Doors of Perception, while Hunter S. Thompson wrote about it at driving 100 miles per hour while under the influence of it in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. But now a growing number of spiritual Westerns are seeking dabbling into these psychedelics, and they're being accused of causing a shortage of the plant that produces mescaline. Apparently, it's cactus. Experts warned last week a shortage of peyote, a sacred cactus. Now, I thought that was poop, cow poop, peyote. Why did I think that?
No.
I don't know why I thought that. I thought peyote was
cow poop,
dung. I thought it was dung, because you can get the mushrooms and the whatnot out of that.
Sure.
I always thought that. I don't know why.
Use that for growing mushrooms. I don't know. If you were asking me where peyote came from, I would say it came from cactus, but I'd probably only be about 40% sure.
Yeah. Well, it says here. Whoops, I lost my place. Here we go. Sacred cactus used by Native Americans in religious rituals, which produce the hallucinogenic drug, and only grows in limited range across the southern United States and northern Mexico. They blame a psychedelic renaissance taking off in wealthy Western societies, as well as over-harvesting and land development. Demands for the psychedelic drug became popular in the counterculture hippie movement in the 60s, has surged alongside Ayahuasca. How do you say that? Ayahuasca. Well, you knew that real quick. You knew that real fast.
Yes, I sure did. That's my middle name.
Oh, got a whole drawer full of the ayahuasca there.
I just like that. I like that the spelling. Like if somebody wants to give me a spelling bee on ayahuasca, I've got it.
Yeah, it's right there. South American psychoactive compound traditionally used by indigenous cultures and folk healers in the Amazon and the Orinoco basins. Orinoco. Oh, Orinoco Flow.
Sail away.
Is she getting stoned in that song? What's her deal there? What's going on with that?
It's just a location. It's just a South American river, I think, or South American.
Chat was just talking about you had one.
Am I done with being robot?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It was just a brief. I forgot the name of your ISP now.
Oh, tedious. It's a very tedious.
It was very brief though. It was very quick.
This I got a thing saying, sorry, Kat, I'm picking up things. Don't get freaked out. Xfinity saying that fiber is now available in my area.
Ooh, fiber from Xfinity is not bad. I had to do cable from them, and it sucked, and I got rid of them. But their fiber is supposed to be pretty good. They're basically leasing fiber lines that other ISPs have access to it too, but it just depends on your area. You should follow or check that out. That's probably, well, I don't know what they're charging, but I'm guessing it's pretty good.
It's under $100 a month but it does. The numbers they gave me seemed really dumb. Let me if you don't mind.
No, let's do it.
A second.
Let's do it. We're gonna dig into the world of broadband acquisition here on the morning stream.
This didn't sound all right. So, 1,200 megabits per second, $85. That's the highest that they list for fiber. Does that seem low to you?
1,200 megabits is not bad. That's a gigabit and a gigabit 0.2.
Yeah.
So that's pretty normal. Pretty normal. Although you can do, I guess Google Fiber will go higher.
Fiber was a lot. Yeah, maybe that's what my thinking was. Is that fiber typically is way higher than 1.2 gigabits.
Yeah, I mean 1.2. I mean that's gigabit internet. That's pretty fast. I mean that's as fast as. I mean that's fast. That's really fast.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about what are you doing now up and down? Probably 60 down or something like that.
It's something 60 down. Yeah.
Because this is much more than that.
Look. For sure. Down or the up is what needs to be strong so that I can send you a signal and not.
Yeah, up and fiber should give you equal. If it's true fiber, you should be getting the gigabit up and down, which is great. Cable from Xfinity sucks ass. I hate it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but their fiber's probably fine. So.
All right. So yeah, this is people are confirming that this is not bad. All right. So
the Wraith, you don't have to call it out every time. We know when it happens. It's fine. If it's real bad, I'll tell Brian. It wasn't bad. It was like a tiny blip.
It was another.
I love that the Wraith is always like, it's happening again. It's like, no, I know. And plus, it was like 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, and we can't do anything about it. And you know,
who knows? If you end up with this fiber, all of it goes away and everyone's happy. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a good sign for me to call back Annalise about this.
85's not bad. Is that unlimited? There's no caps on the fiber, I would assume?
That's the thing. I got to find out if there is a bandwidth cap. That would be interesting.
Yeah. Pixel Rage says they've got Comcast fiber at 2 gig or cable at 2 gig. Their cable's fine if you don't pay attention to what's happening or you don't stream anything. Like if you're just a household, and when I mean stream, I mean upstream. It gets real bad, especially at night. You compete with people's cable usage. Like, it sucked. I hated it. It was not a good time. And they treated me like shit. They were not great to work with.
Because it's all shared. Jeez.
They were bad.
Ugh.
Yeah. Anyway, let me know how that goes. That sounds great.
Will do.
Anyway, they're all out of these cactuses and they want to get high. So quit taking them, white people.
I was going to smoke a cactus, but then I got high.
I really thought peyote was poop. I've learned something today.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, now is it more appetizing sounding?
Yeah, I think I could go for a bowl of peyote.
Cool.
You know?
Let's see if we can grab some ayahuasca while we're in Vegas and really go to town.
Sure. Progresso soups are rare when the new one drops, but we got a new Progresso soup with no peyote in it. It's not even a soup. Check this out. The Progresso soup people offering a chicken noodle hard candy.
Yeah.
Brian, the slogan is soup you can suck on.
Ultimately the most thickened liquid you can get.
It doesn't get more thickened than solid, does it?
Does not get more thickened than solid. Welcome to completely thickened liquid.
Oh, that's funny. It says, if you didn't know already, January is National Soup Month. I didn't know that. And a company that often comes to mind when you think of them is Progresso, and then, of course, noodle soups of all sorts. Think savory hard candy. This is what you can expect from the limited edition Progresso Soup Drops. It's called Soup Drops. You've dropped.
I played bass for the Soup Drops back in the 90s.
Well, they were pretty good until the controversy. Until then, it was fine.
It is a nice nice combination of the Soup Dragons and the Mighty Lemon Drop. So you've got there is something there.
There's precedent for it. It says they're calling this the ultimate collab. Anyway, and
probably collab. Yeah.
Collab.
Oh no, cold.
I think they just mean cold, right? Why'd they say collab?
They do mean cold. Yeah, they just had an extra A.
Maybe that's
just dropped an extra.
Maybe they put either that's an A typo or Dr. Tolbert's going to let us know that collab means something in colds, and I just never heard of it.
It's a different kind of cold.
But they say it offers flu season.
Collab.
And since you haven't been feeling good, maybe you should try one of these soup drops, Brian. Maybe that'll help you feel better.
I want. They're sold out, but they're basically this coming Thursday. So 2 days from now, they're selling more. You and I need to try these on the show.
Hell yes. Oh, look at them. They kind of look good.
They do. Like it's kind of like I'm kind of in.
I don't know why these look good. I'm questioning my sanity. Why I want one.
They look like lozenges, basically. Look like Hall's menthol drops.
Or like what am I trying to compare this to? Like
a Luden's honey.
Yeah, or maybe even what are the butterscotch ones? The old men always give their grandkids.
Oh, Werther's.
Yeah, like big old Werther's, but it tastes like soup. Mm-hmm. Oh, freaking! I am all in, dude.
Chicken noodle soup, as long as it doesn't have chunks, as long as it's just basically bouillon.
If anyone gets a line on these before we do, let us know. But I think we'll try to grab these. I think we'll get some. All right, we're gonna take a break.
9 a.m. Eastern time, so 7 a.m. our time Thursday is when they go on sale. We need to.
Is it direct, or you get them off some site, or what is it? Where do you buy them?
Looks like you have to get them online at the Progresso website.
Okay, Progresso.com, I assume.
Looks like it. Yep. And let's see. Do they have? They don't even have a link on their homepage currently talking about it.
Weird.
Soup drops. Clam sauce.
Clams. All right. Well done. We're going to take a break. When we come back from this break, Dan, the tabletop man's going to be here. He just got back from some event, and he thinks he's found the perfect Scott and Brian games for us.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yep.
I'm all in.
And we'll ask him about this. If you get the Vaxes and a cold the same day, what does that do? Because he's a pharmacist and he might know. I don't know. Anyway, that's coming up after this break. Brian, let's play a song though before we go.
Yes. Okay. This is great. And this one, it took about a minute into the song for me to get hooked. So the beginning sounds like, your regular kind of current pop staple. But as soon as it gets kind of going, it's like, oh, this is deeper. This is much better. This is a woman named Moonchild Sanelli, or it might be Moonchild. It can't be Sanely because there are two L's, but it's Moonchild. Let's say Moonchild Sanelli. She has a brand new album called Full Moon. Big thanks to Transgressive Records for sending this out. This is a brand new song. It's called Falling. I really love this thing. Electronic, hooky, pop, awesome. R&B-ish. It's got a lot of stuff going on here. And she's a South African superstar in waiting too.
Oh, so nice.
Pop Qualto.
I'm an American superstar in waiting, by the way. I'm just waiting.
You are. I think excellent.
Yeah. It's going to take a while, I'm sure, but I'm in waiting.
It's going to take a while. Yeah. But all right. Anyway, Moonchild Sanelli from her brand new album, Full Moon. Here is Falling.
Hey, what are we doing out of the bottle? This is dangerous.
A minute ago, we were all strangers, and now we're going to live together.
And we've come back from that. What was that song? One more time, please.
That is Moonchild Sanelli from her brand new album, Full Moon, and a song called Falling. It's funny, our two songs today are very similar in name, but that's Falling, and really, really cool stuff there.
What's our last song called? Oh, I don't see it.
It's called Killing.
Falling and Killing. Yeah, if you fall, you might die.
Falling and Killing.
It's a form of killing, I suppose.
If you fall on somebody, though.
Oh, shit.
you might kill them.
I saw the most gnarly accident on a video where like a big garbage truck sized truck, like a tall, heavy truck, they were trying to get it off some ridge, and there were 3 guys down below it trying to do something. I don't know why they thought they were going to help, but the thing ended up cresting over the edge and then tipped and fell on these dudes. And then they all got up somehow. I don't understand how they survived, but they survived it. There's no way I would live.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh,
Geek Jock Blog, also known as Dan, coming on the show here shortly. So let's get him going, and let's see what we can pull out of our butts, if I can find his intro.
Here's a tangent for you. Be careful, may cause drowsiness.
Indeed, that's true. That's not true. He doesn't make me sleepy when he talks. It's Dan, the tabletop man. Hi, Dan.
You'd be surprised. I think a lot of people fall asleep when I talk. A greetings program.
I don't believe it.
Never, Dan.
Never. Hey, you just got back from some cool game thing. Before we talk about any of that, though, I need to know if Brian goes to get his flu vaccine or his COVID shots, boosters.
Okay.
I did.
And gets a cold the same day, like an actual cold, even if it's not one of the two. Well, let's say it is. Let's say it's the flu that the vaccine is meant to address this year. But he doesn't know he has it, but he's acquired that flu. It's incubating. He gets the shot, and an hour later, the flu actually kicks in, plus effects from the shots. Is he better off that he did it, or did that neutralize its effect? Like, what does that do to a person? Because I'm sure this happens. Timing's just bad.
Because I will tell you, I had got the shot combo Saturday, and still not 100%, but way better than I was Sunday, and definitely better than I was yesterday.
Okay, so when you said a shot combo, so you got COVID and flu at the same time.
COVID and flu shots at the same time.
Okay,
same arm.
Now,
not that matters.
So I just want to address a couple of things the way you said it, Scott.
Sure.
You said these things happen. Like you said, kind of this happens. It when you say it happens, it doesn't happen because one or the other.
No.
It just happens in real life because of just random happenstance.
Yeah, that's all I mean. It's just coincidence.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, when you say you get the flu, you already had the flu when you got the shot if you started having symptoms on the same day.
Right.
If you think of it that way. So that stuff, everything has to be in your system technically already, but you're not getting it from either one of those shots. Now, I don't think there's any brands right now of COVID, because I'm pretty sure even the COVID is not a live vaccine, and flu is definitely not a live vaccine. I don't think there are any live versions of these shots available as of now. Some things like they used to have the nasal. I don't know if they make even the nasal live anymore. I haven't seen a lot of them. I haven't done a lot of vaccines. You know, working where I'm working now, I don't give any. I am a sort of a vaccinator, but I don't give anything anymore. Right. And some of these things come and go like year to year as far as what's available.
Right.
Now, that being said, one of the things you always ask people when they come in to get vaccines, how are you feeling? Are you sick? That has nothing to do with whether you're going to get sick or whether or not you're going to, have the COVID or have it or not have the response. You just may not have the correct, quick response to building those immunities and the antibodies to what you're getting as fast as you would like them to. Now, it's also not going to help if you're sick right now or about to be sick. It's not really going to help any of that. Like you're not going to get your full response to those for a few weeks. It's going to take a while for your body to build those antibodies, because you're not injecting people with antibodies with these shots. You're just giving their body a kickstart, or saying, you're almost like holding up a sign and saying, build antibodies to this. Is basically what it's doing. And that's what you're getting. And then if you got it a couple of weeks later, it's probably going to help maybe the extent of it. Remember, you're taking these vaccines to either reduce the severity of what you're going to get or reduce how many times you're going to get these things. These are not even if you get that strain, even though you should technically be immune, the way immunities work, you should be technically immune to it. It's just not, like, everything mutates so much that you're not going to be quote unquote immune. You may just not get it a couple of times because of those immunities and such. It's just going to help your body to fight it off a little bit quicker, or just not get it. Generally, people that have the most effect from the flu vaccine are people that are going to get it 3 or more times a year, depending on either where they live, as far as, or how many times they come in contact with other people at that. And also, it's going to help you because you're not going to necessarily bring home, that to your loved ones and such. So there are people that, the benefit and risk is, I mean, there's almost no risk to it. There's risk with anything you put in your body. Your body's going to have that immune response. And that's why you feel like ass, Brian, is because you're having that immune response. Since you've had that one response this year, I would probably recommend you wait a month between shots next year. We get one and then come back and get the other. Now, again, it may not matter, or one day of feeling like ass may not be that big of a deal because you got the shots and it's over with.
Yeah.
And by next year, it may not even be a big deal because there is a company that's developing a joint shot of the two. And I knew that was only a matter of time where you're going to have COVID and flu in one injection.
Sure.
In
one.
Yeah, he said joint, and I thought, weed, getting some weed.
Yay! Joint shot. No, it was 2.5 days, Dan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but I like the idea of spreading apart at least a month and doing that.
Yeah, when I got them together, they bother me not at all. So this illustrates Dan's whole point, which is like some people react, some don't. My biggest curiosity was, though, if Brian went in there with an incubated virus already doing its work and he just wasn't feeling symptoms yet, and then later felt symptoms from that because of the, again, coincidence of it all, did the shot benefit him at all, or did it make it worse? Or I guess it just depends on who you are.
Oh, I mean, nothing. You're totally going to get the benefit of it. It just may take a little while longer, but you're fine. There's not really any risk or to worry about or anything. Again, that may have a kind of could. The only risk you may have had is it could have made that 2.5 days worse. Like maybe if you didn't have a cold, because you're asking this because you had a cold that day, right, Brian?
We think.
Well, I'm thinking I might have, just because of how quickly symptoms came on. Usually it was, in the past when I've gotten I've never done the combo of the two together, but in the past when I've done the COVID booster, it was 6 hours later I started feeling like, oh, okay, yeah, now I'm not feeling so good. And then it was gone in 4 hours, like zhoop, zhoop, gone as quickly as it came on. But this one, A, came on a lot quicker after I left the place. B, stuck around for 2.5 days.
Yeah, and that's probably why. That could very well be why, because you're kicking your immune system in overdrive because you're already taxing it with the I always watch the words I use because I don't want anybody to get upset or anything like taxing. When I say taxing your immune system, because you're already forcing your immune system in overdrive, and then it's being forced even more in overdrive because you got sick.
Right.
Or because you wasn't. So that could be what prolonged it. Maybe next year you only feel bad for a day if you're completely healthy. And what's interesting is like when these things come out, because for information out there, you're taking basically both of these shots now. You're taking the variants or strains that were most popular from last year. You're taking them 3 or 4 strains that are most popular, and you're just guessing.
I love the term popular. It's actually accurate to say popular because it's populous, but it sounds like everybody's like, oh man, I love this year's COVID. It was so good. It was so popular too.
These were the viruses with the highest Yelp ratings.
And what happens is then they're producing them, and then some of these pharmacies, you're getting this year's flu shot like in the middle of the summer. Now, do you necessarily want to get it? No, but maybe, Brian, you'll get your flu shot earlier next year. Maybe August, maybe early September, and then maybe wait a month because maybe the COVID. I'm not in retail anymore, so I don't know when those start coming in, the COVID vials, as opposed to flu. Because I know the flu, man, your district manager wants that crap in you. They want you doing that as soon as you can, and that's why they're trying to push it at the end of the summer. And I mean, I know where you guys live. I mean, it snows on like August 30th, so I mean, hey, it's gonna help anyway. Yeah. So with the flu. You want, and again, it kind of does wane a little bit. The earlier you take it, I mean, technically it doesn't wane. This is all kind of semantics about like the immune system and stuff like that. You still kind of want it during the peak of the season to be the peak in your system, even though it's not really leaving because you got these immunities, you got these cells are all over the place. So you're still going to get some peak immunity if you take it even in September and wait a month for the COVID. Because right now, I don't think it's crazy to say that there is flu season, like is a thing. COVID season is all year. You know what I mean? Like, even though COVID season kind of could be a little bit more in the winter, but COVID season's all year. So, flu season is more of a thing because of the weather and such like that.
Yeah. And how it transfers. Boy, that norovirus can eat a poo, though. That thing was bad this year. Everybody I knew had it. Yeah. We somehow avoided it, but man, it was bad, rough.
Yeah, and it was going around like crazy in the Northeast and even some down here and pretty much like everywhere. It's just crazy how viruses and stuff like that go. Like it just takes off like wildfire. I mean, and that's why, quite frankly, like people looking at COVID are like, how can this happen? Well, if you really tracked every virus in the world, how it explodes and how it goes, it's just more of the. I don't think people realize how the extent of how strong how strong COVID became, like how it was. Because if you look at certain strains of even the flu or a cold, you're like, wow, that went nuts.
Yeah, I am glad though that I'm glad it has to keep. Like the only good thing about COVID is its desire to stay alive and relevant is making it less potent because it has to keep mutating to be easier to catch, but it's less deadly. Like the stuff that was happening in 2020, freaking terrible. You get it now and it's like, that was lame, but I'm okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like the difference between my early 2022 catch and then the one I had last year couldn't have been more different. The one I had last year was like almost nothing. It's like a few days of just feeling bad.
Also, not forget that that doesn't mean that there won't ever be
of course
a
not.
Coronavirus that is strong, or there won't ever be So coronavirus wasn't new. Like it was around for. I mean, we knew about it for years and years. We just had no real reason to get any sort of vaccine to it because we've known about it for years and years. It just went crazy at how strong it got. Doesn't mean that there's not a norovirus that could just mutate and all of a sudden we've got some crazy strains of it.
Please no. We're all going to be shitting ourselves, the whole country. That's not good.
It's just how it, I don't want to say the thing that I think now, I don't ever want to say I want anybody to die. Don't take me wrong here. I think in medicine, we might have gotten complacent in the 2000s where we were like, well, we're so strong. The underdog viruses aren't going to hit us at all. And then all of a sudden, boom, then we get something. Now we know at any given time, no matter how cocky we are in the medical world, we could get a virus that just kicks our ass and we need to be ready for it. And that's why research is so important in all of the different areas. And nobody wants to hear this, that a lot of big pharma money is because of research. Like things are expensive because of other things. Again, I talk to people, people complain about drug prices, and yes, they are out of control. But you got to remember, for every one drug that gets on the market, there's 10 that they sank millions of dollars in, and it did nothing. So you're still paying down the road. And I'm only slightly apologist for this, like, because granted, don't get me wrong, I put in our little Discord every couple of days about how there's a drug that should not be $800 a tablet, and it is. And it's stuff like that. That stuff is the overreaching greed. But there are certain drugs, like your everyday drugs, are expensive for a reason. Now, I don't want to get into the whole economy and everything, but I just, sorry, that was a tangent.
No, this is a tangent, but you know what I like about it? Here's what I like. Is you brought up our little Discord room, and here's what I love about that room. Brian and I basically get to go to a medical convention anytime we feel like it, because we pop in there, and Dan's got this to say about this and this and this. And then Dr. Tolbert will pipe in and say, well, on the patient level, this and this and this. It's an amazing place because that can also evolve into, hey, the new Marvel game's real good. You guys should play it. Like
exactly.
It's an amazing Discord. No one else is invited. It's 4 of us. Sorry, everybody. F off. It's the best place ever to be in there. That's what we're saying.
I love it. It's sad little private club. Also, is there a thing called a colad? Is it like a worse than a regular cold? It's just
glad you brought that up.
There was a typo in one of the articles we read today, and we didn't know if there was not a typo, and there really is a colad.
Yeah, is that such a thing?
Maybe I'm just. I don't think so.
You're out of the loop on the colad. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see anything like definition wise. I'm looking at Wikipedia. Nothing. Dictionaries. Nothing. I think they just typoed. But it looks.
That's why typos are so dangerous in especially in medicine, intelligence things. Typos can be crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
That's wild. All right. Well, that's amazing. So, Dan, now that we've discussed the world's communicable diseases, let's now get into the world's communicable board games where they can catch colds from each other because they're yelling across the table. You just got back from something. Tell us where you went, first of all. I'm really curious about that.
We call it, it's basically just kind of like a friend con, but we call it Motor City Con because I go up to Detroit. And I've talked about River Valley Glassworks in the past and Fleet the Dice Game. Those guys, Matt Riddle, Ben Pinchback, and Adam Hill, They all live right outside of Detroit, like kind of like up around Oakland or so in Detroit. So we started this. It's funny. We started this right sort of COVID because we all met at a hotel that was kind of halfway between us, and then we just decided to now we're just going to fly up to Detroit every year. So every year now for the last 3 or 4 years, I fly up there. A bunch of buddies come, and we just play games for like 4 days. It's kind of like a local con. And it's kind of in the, we just kind of go to their house. Guys just show up. We just play games for like 4 days. So I just flew back yesterday from that. The good thing about that is those guys, like a couple of those guys that come, they have games that I don't have or games that I just can't find and stuff like that. So I've got 2 of them today. Now I was going to give you, Brian, a real heavy one. I'll probably throw that in our Discord because it's a real new hotness that's really good. But I have 2 kind of lighter games. So these are really 2 Scott games, but I think Brian will like one a little more than Scott because of the theme.
Is it because the rules are more complicated than the rules for my games? Is that why, Dan? Is that the reason?
Well, normally a Scott game is a game that, and for anybody out there that's new to the show, welcome. Here's Dan and Tabletop Man's rules for Scott and Brian games. So Scott games are games. A lot of times they're kind of more entry-level games or family-type games and games that don't take more than an hour. And also the rules are like on one page.
It's all right. I've accepted.
Exactly.
I've accepted my fate. It's totally fine. I don't mind.
That doesn't mean that I don't think Scott would love a longer game. But typically on your, when Scott's going to break out a game with his family, he's not breaking out SETI, which is one of the new hotnesses. He's not breaking out the 3 hour game.
Yeah, I'm not playing Gloomhaven with like 7 people around a table at my house. That's not happening. Guaranteed.
And then a Brian game is one that could be very thematic in what we call like the Ameritrash games, where it's very maybe a little bit longer, a little bit wilder. It's going to take a little while to explain, or even the heavier Euros. I kind of like to call a Brian game.
Wait, hold on. Before we get past the buried headline here, what does Ameritrash mean?
Ameritrash. Boy, it feels like we could use that phrase pretty liberally these days.
What does it mean?
Oh, and this is what's funny about the industry too. So like we used to call them Ameritrash all the time, but there's negative connotation to that. So now sometimes they'll call them Amerithrash games. So the Amerithrash games are these kind of games that have like there may be like a bunch of things on the map. You've got a lot of minis, you've got a lot of cards, you're rolling dice, things are just blowing up. There's a lot of randomness to it. So you're just like Euro games, there's a little less randomness. You're pushing cubes. You may not even talk for the next 2 hours. Amerithrash games is like, I just took out your Kraken, Brian. You're doing stuff like that. And you're
it's
just
trash. Trash is a verb and not as a noun.
Yes,
as an adjective.
Yeah, and that's why they kind of make it thrash because it's all fighty and just stuff is blowing up. Just everywhere. Simon has a lot of those type games, and just a lot of those big hunking miniatures that people paint and stuff like that. It's just a lot of fun to play those type games. This one today, I'm going to start off with the Scott and Brian game.
Oh,
now this one is called, and this what's cool about when you go to little mini cons like this is that maybe a guy you haven't seen in a year. He happened to be at another convention in Denver, and somebody had this game, or he found it at a friendly local game store that he didn't realize was really going to be good. So the first one I'm going to talk about is actually Redwood. This is a game where the theme is about going into the community, or going into the wilderness and taking pictures. That's all you're doing. You're not thrashing anything. You're just taking pictures. So, but what's really cool is it has this visual spatial element to it. Now you have your guy that's on this kind of round where there's like 5 biomes, and you have your photographer that's going out there. Now, your photographer is on the map. It's pretty cool. It's got this little neoprene thing on you have a little neoprene button on the bottom where so when you put it on the map, you're not really it's not moving around. It's stationary. And then you have these red little kind of plastic pieces. I guess they're like flimsy plastic. They're bendable plastic. And what you're doing is you're picking one of these patterns. There's like 5 or 6 patterns out there that are different distances and sometimes shapes. That's where you're moving to. So that is where, when you put it out there, then you're kind of moving, it kind of clicks into your base, and then you're moving around, and then where the other big circle is where you're putting your dude. So
cool. Okay.
Do you see what I mean? Like with the red ones? Yeah. And Scott, if you search enough, there's one that looks like a peen. I'm sure you can find that one.
I like a peen. Let's see what I can find.
I love a peen.
I was at Costco yesterday, and they had these beans that look like the font they used looked like peen. That was pretty funny.
Beans.
Yeah.
Sure.
I can't find the peen, but continue on. Go ahead.
So when you get to a specific spot, now you're using the kind of the white pieces that you may see in some of these pictures. And that's the picture that you're taking. So you're trying to get either flowers, trees, or animals into your projection, and you have to have them fully into the piece you pick. So you're trying to, and depending on which, where you're pointing, there's these cards that are kind of like they're kind of like a wilderness, like the backdrop cards, and they have a certain amount of boxes on them, which is how many things you want. So you may have one wilderness box that has 3 boxes on it, or maybe have 2. So you're trying to get 2 pieces. You may have to an animal and a flower, or maybe you're trying to get three different things in there. And then there's little cards that come up that kind of change the scoring. But the whole thing about it is you can't touch these other pieces, like where you're going or the photography thing. So sometimes you grab a piece and you're like, oh crap, it's not big enough. Like the swath of it is not big enough to get what I wanted, or it's not just quite long enough to get where you want.
So it's basically like kind of line of sight cone type thing, and in a video game even, where you don't have line of sight, so you can't capture the image, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and you can't go through. Like when you're moving, you can't go through an animal or another person. And when you're taking a picture, you're not supposed to go. You can't go through another person. You don't want another. I don't want Brian in my picture.
Right.
You don't want anybody else.
This is wild that this is a physical. Like the fact that this is a physical game and it's doing that mechanic is crazy to me.
Yeah,
That's
just kidding. They figured out a way to physically do line of sight in a board game.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's neat.
Without having walls, without actually having physical walls that you'd need, in D&D to be able to say, "Oh, you can't attack the kobold because you can't see it."
And there are the people that play miniature games. They're used to these type of like little pieces because these are in miniature games. I think they even had some stuff like this. Brian, you played X-Wing back in the day. I think there's even things like this where you're doing different maneuvers with like things like that.
X-Wing,
so
like
cool
the video game X-Wing, like the PC game.
It was a tabletop game, X-Wing.
Was it based on the game, like the old flight sims?
Well, I don't know if it was based on the old video game, but it was.
It was a dogfight game.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, maybe it was.
It was card based.
Because I loved those games. Oh my gosh, I didn't play the board games, but it's really good.
So, so that's Redwood. He just whipped it. I've never heard of this game, and it's amazing how awesome it is.
It's a beautiful game too. The pieces are beautiful. Everything's real painterly. Your figures are cool. Just real nice, nice package.
Yeah, and I sometimes hate talking about games that I don't know if anybody's going to be able to find them out there. So hopefully, if you're interested in this game, hopefully there's a copy on Amazon or anything. It's not too expensive, but it's a great game.
Awesome.
So the one that I think, Scott, you would love this, and this brings up an interesting thing. We don't have to get into this. This is kind of like the difference between is the game fun or is it the group you're playing fun? This game is called The Gang. It was very much hotness kind of at Gen Con, and I've been wanting to get my hands on it. So this is, now waiting for this. This is one of the weirdest explanations you'll ever get. This is cooperative Texas Hold'em.
Whoa! I'm already interested because I
believe there's such a thing.
I love Hold'em. This sounds great. What an interesting idea. How does that work?
Yeah.
So what you're doing is so there's these 4 different color chips. So there's chips. Let's just say we're playing 4 players. There's white chips, yellow chips, orange chips, and red chips. And those represent rounds of the game. So now if you know Texas Hold'em, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get your pocket cards. You're going to get your 2 cards. Now what we're trying to do is by the end of the round, when all the cards are out there, we have to predict who has the worst hand and who has the best hand. And obviously first, second, third, fourth hand. Now you can't you can talk, but you can't say anything about your hand. Like I can't say, well, that 9 looks really good out there. I can't say
heart.
Yeah. But as you're betting, you're getting a little bit of information. You can be like, well, you can say things like, I think I'm in the 2-3 zone. Like, I think I'm in that range. Or I really think I'm the number 4. Like, I really think I have the highest card. And then when a flop comes out, you're going to be getting chips again. You're not betting. You're just getting chips for information. So when that flop comes out, like Brian, you may have gone from 1 to all of a sudden the flop comes out. You're like, I'm number 4 without a doubt. And we're like, oh, well, that gives us a lot of information and stuff like that. So, and then as you're playing, when you get to the last round after the turn and the river comes out, each time you're getting more chips. The only ones that really matter are those red chips at the very end. So now you're kind of like, all right, this matters. This is whether we win or lose. Like it's the first the first of 3, either you get them all right or the 3 you get them all wrong. So either you win as a group or lose as a group. But there's also an advanced variant that after you play it a few times when you're not playing with these other variants, I don't want to say it gets easy, but it gets easier because kind of everybody has a feeling of how everybody's ranking their hands pre-flop. Because that's a big thing. Like, is Queen 9 suited better than a pair of 7s? So,
Sure, right.
Something, or is 8-9 suited better than a pair of 7? Stuff like that, like how everybody views those things. And I know there's math out there and things are or not better, but I'm not worried about that. It's how your group does, because you're going to have people that are poker studs and are people that maybe just heard about, kind of know the ranking.
There's the co-op aspect is what's freaking me out, because I'm a huge fan of when, like, Balaltro, which is a massive hit on all platforms this last year. It's an incredible game. But what I love about it and other games like it is that they've meshed in these like poker mechanics into kind of a different take. Like, oh, we're going to play differently here. But this sounds like, no, it's Hold'em, but you can't play alone. You have to have help. And that's wild. What a wild idea that's is.
So looks compact. Like, looks like it just fits in a small little box with a deck of cards.
A couple of deck cards. So what happens in the advanced version is if you happen to win one of the rounds, like say if you get it right, then you flip over one of these, bad cards, and it tells you have to do this or that. Like for example, it may say, all right, you don't get to use the chips in round 1. You just go straight to the flop.
Yeah.
So you're not getting any information. So they're not all, some of them are not all that hard, but some of them get pretty hard. And if you fail one of the rounds, you can flip over one of the good cards. And what that is it may say, okay, one person may tell the whole group one of his cards. Something like that. I'm pretty sure that's like a card in there. So stuff like that's it just helps you out a little bit. But it's very interesting because I've heard people say that, their group really didn't get into it. They were too heavier gamers and they were just pushing around chips. I'm like, when we played with 4 players, when you're succeeding, there are high five jumping around moments. And when we played with 6, the more players you have, obviously gets really hard. When we played with 6, we were screaming how much fun. We were screaming when we got it right.
That sounds great.
Oh, and I mean, I can't tell you, we played it twice with 4 players. Then we were like, all right, we got to bring the other guys in. So we got a group of 6. We played it 4 times. We just couldn't stop playing it. And each time is like at least 3 hands. Like you're playing basically best of 5, win or lose. We just kept playing because it was just so much fun. Now, does that mean like, is one group, it's group dependent? Because like if you have somebody, like it's probably no secret to anybody that I'm loud and jumping around having a fun guy. Like if you have the quiet,
as you should be.
Exactly. Like, but if and there's nothing wrong with being the quiet person. And sometimes people are just quieter, and because we had a good mix of like raucous and quiet people playing, but everybody had fun. Is that the group or is it the game? So that's a very interesting question to think about. But this game was awesome. We had so much fun. I can't tell you how much fun this one is. I think you guys would again, you could bring somebody in that's never played poker, because obviously there's cards. You can see it in some of these pictures where like the cards will tell you what the rank are. Like there's a card that shows all the ranks of poker, and you could teach poker, especially if you're not betting money. I mean, you're just trying to, you're just telling somebody, and then as you play a couple of times, it's pretty quick.
Yeah, it's not a hard game to grasp. It's the tricky part about poker is like the late game, people who are really good at poker facing it and knowing when to do certain things and when to lose and look like you're losing. Like that's all the meta game.
Know when to hold them and
know when to fold them. Exactly, that guy. Like there's skill in that, right? But for regular people, Hold'em's not like hard rules. Get in there real quick.
And when you see in kind of like betting, even when you're playing betting, like there are people that are so good at poker, they know exactly what you have, and you haven't showed them a thing. When we were playing, there was a couple of us that'd be like, just looking at how you quote unquote bet or how you take the chips. I'm like, oh, Brian's sitting there with a Jack 6. I've got a higher. I've got a pair. So I know he's got kind of a better. He's gonna, because of the board, he's got a better high 2 pair than I have. Like it's amazing how you can kind of deduce that just from the way other people are talking and group think.
What's the other game? Is it Bridge, where you kind of give subtle, or you can give subtle?
If you're cheating in a trick taking game like Spades or Bridge, you'd be like, man, I
never play Bridge. So that's actually frowned upon, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, actually, I haven't played a lot of Bridge. I played a lot of Spades and a lot of trick taking games, and most of the ones that you play like that are games like this are not they're not co-op, but when you're playing spades, it's usually a 4-player game. You have a partner, and then people can get if you're not looking for it, people can get really creative. You're like, I got to do some yard work next week, and like, oh, spades. You're gonna play spade. You're gonna play a spade.
Nice.
It's double and stuff. People get a little bit nuts like that. One thing I do want to say before we get out of here, I think I saw, and I want to tell everybody out there, and I don't mean to bring the show down, but it's very important. One of the designers, I believe, after the game came out, committed suicide. So I want everybody out there, if you are not feeling right, get help. I know it's hard to ask for help. There's plenty of people, especially if you listen to this, you're in the tadpole community. Anybody out there is willing to talk. So I know mental health is a hard thing to talk about, but it's easy for me to say get help. But please, at the very least,
talk to somebody. Absolutely, yes. Yeah,
I agree. That's always a good message.
Always good advice. Yeah.
Dan's got good advice about what shots are doing in your arm and what to do if you're feeling bad, and also if you need a good a good board game. He's got ideas on that. That's why Dan is so versatile. Thank you, Dan, for your versatility. Yeah. You're the Swiss Army knife of guests on the show.
Thanks.
Those 2 games, by the way, just real quick, the Gang, and that was the poker-based one, and then the other one is called Redwood, which looks amazing. Redwood. Yeah, both of these look fantastic.
That looks really cool. What a gorgeous-looking game, too.
Yeah, if any of you guys have it and want to bring it to Vegas, bring it to Vegas. We'll be happy to play it.
Yes. Oh God, especially the Gang. That looks like it'd be great for Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it. I've got is the politics of working in the world. Trying to get PTO and figured everything out.
Yeah, PTO is.
Well, we need you. We need you, Dan.
Yeah,
I really want
Patrice.
To so bad.
It's Patrice time off is what PTO stands for. And let's get it going.
That's right. Do you need us to fake a note from your doctor?
Yeah, we can do it.
Well, I'll call Jerry. He's going to tell me.
That's right. While you're at it, get some oxycodone and whatever else you need from the guy. Just kidding. Don't do that.
I'll bring all the good stuff out there.
Sweet. Have a fantastic month. We'll see you next time, and hopefully we'll see you in Vegas. We'll see you soon.
Love you, boys. Take care.
Dan.
See you.
All right. Always good to hear from Dan.
So good.
All right, you guys. I got an announcement to make. Here you go. Our prize package has been primarily decided upon. That doesn't mean new things won't be added. They probably will be. But our film festival, 30-second film festival prize package now includes stickers, prints, previous TMS Vegas challenge coins, possibly multiples if I can find them. But at least one. Yep, there's one from last year. We've done one every year except one, I think. And I still have a couple from last year and maybe one from the year before. You might get 2. Custom drawn print from me, a custom drawn print from Carter, a winning video repost on the YouTube, the TMS YouTube feed. So you'll be able to get everybody out there in the world, or people that see the YouTube channel will get to see that. TMS coffee mug 3D print hand painted by Brian. Look at that little guy. You see that? It's beautiful. Love it.
This is the big one too. This is full, like almost coffee cup sized.
Yeah, that one's like not the little magnety, tiny one, but the big one.
No, this one's a biggie. Yeah.
You may not drink out of it, but it looks like you could.
Don't drink out of it.
No, don't. Yeah. Coverville T-shirt, winner's choice of what's available in their size. So that'll be decided when you win. America's top podcaster swag bundle, and I already mentioned Carter's print. Those are all the things thus far. Big physical package, lots of cool stuff. There will be more added, but it's enough to get you going. I'll put these up on the site as well, so it'll all be in one place when you go to submit your videos. And I'll do that today sometime. So watch for that. Please get your entries in, frogpants.com/filmfest. It's the TMS 30-second film festival. Yours could be the winner. All right.
Ask for it by name.
Ask for it by name. Speaking of which, somebody who did not leave their name sent this text in, Brian. They said, earlier this week on a post-show of the morning stream, you and Brian were talking about taking carpet off of stairs and putting hardwood on. Can you elaborate on that since the post-show started halfway through the conversation? Yeah, that was the day I lost a bunch of the post-show.
Yeah, and that's and it's not hardwood, it is like laminate. So basically one of my clients is a company that makes these treads that go over your, like you basically rip off your carpet and they go over your subfloor on your stairs to continue whatever laminate look you've got for the floor continues down the stairs, which looks really good. And the fact that it's laminate means it's not slippery like hardwood. There's a little bit of bounce to it, so like it actually, your foot doesn't go off of it. It kind of stays stays on it. Yeah, it's like a client of mine we were just talking about. I think I even have somewhere I've got an example of one of them, but Trendy Stair Treads is the site.
It's pretty cool. We had somebody freak out about the.
They were talking about like the hardwood. They were saying basically like hardwood, you're going to kill somebody, you asshole.
Yeah.
I think those are the words that they used exactly.
I think he was saying that anything other than carpet is bad, and I still don't quite understand why they would say that. Other than, I guess if you're. I don't know if you're
somebody who hurt themselves on a hardwood staircase. I totally understand it. I broke my coccyx on a carpeted staircase, so it can happen with anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, carpet or hardwood or laminate or whatever. But yeah.
Did I tell you? You know how I was telling you my knee hurts? Like I did something to my patella or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I think I may have hairline cracked it, like a little crack.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh geez.
Which they can't do anything about. I just have to be careful with it and ice it and let it heal. But
you got an X-ray or something? I hope just to make sure.
I haven't. And even if you did, I mean, it's just gonna be a waste of money because they're just gonna say hairline. Oh, there's nothing you can do. I mean, I could request a cast, but that's like hip to foot. F that business. I ain't doing that.
No, you definitely don't want that.
I'm just going to be careful. It's feeling better today.
Just to make sure it's only hairline, I guess, is the question.
Well, the way there's no.
It's not something that's going to get worse.
So the trick is if you have a bunch of swelling, that's usually some other problem. If you have bruising or any kind of discoloration, that's another problem. But if you're getting no swelling and it just hurts right there, it's either this patellinitis, I forgot the name, or it's a hairline. And if it's a hairline, it just has to heal because it can't do shit. So I'm going to wait until if it gets worse, I'm going in. But I don't want it. So far, it's getting better. It's improved every day.
Let's not be typical dudes, Scott. Let's go to the doctor when we should go to the doctor and not wait on stuff.
Yeah. If it was getting worse, I would do that. But it's
good.
But it's getting better, and I'd really rather not spend $600 or whatever the hell they're going to charge me. All right, that is it for today. We'll be back tomorrow. All right, so come back with your Wednesday pants, everybody, and we'll do Wednesday things. Frogpants.com/TMS for all the stuff you're going to need, with one exception, at least for now, and that is this song by Brian Ibbett. What is it? Well, it's not by you.
That's
but
right.
From you.
Well, they want it to be. I mean,
sure.
Just can't get on my horse. Just can't get on my horse. All right. This is going out to Greg, a.k.a. Kip Zinger. Love it. We got a lot of requests this week. We have a lot of birthdays. A lot of our community is celebrating birthdays this week. But this one is not. This one, I love this. TMS family, with the inauguration happening yesterday and with all of us trying to keep positive, all I have to say is F this a-hole of the shitty horse he rode it on.
Oh, great. Thanks a lot, Greg. I was trying to keep it clean today. Not clean, but you know what I mean.
We blame Greg.
It's totally fine. Whatever Greg can say, whatever Greg wants.
Even said you can amend that part. I won't be offended. You could eliminate it, blah, 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 but whatever.
Yeah.
I had to get in here. Can I please request your favorite Rage Against the Machine cover song? After this, let's all take a deep breath, carry on, and take care of each other. Thank you for all that you do, Greg, a.k.a. Kip Zinger.
Kip Zinger's great.
Yeah, it is great. I can't agree with that more. It's fantastic opinion. Boy, my voice is still just so scratchy. I can just hear it. This is by a ska band called The Apples from their album Buzzin' About. They don't call it Killing in the Name. They just call it Killing. Here are The Apples.
Oh, looks like someone just got their ears caught in the audio cookie jar at frogpants.com.
Whatever you do, don't cut that wire.